we go. I think maybe. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay, let's see. Ew, that's like a terrible way to like type. Um. What is that like weird thing on the camera? Oh, that's my. Oh, that's from my T. Okay, never mind. Cool, cool. We're good. Hey, yeah, I'm not wearing a beanie right now, dude. That thing is filthy. That thing is disgusting. It needs to be washed. Like absolutely. Yeah. Oh man, we do have the Virgil Hawkins. Well, actually, no. Virgil Hawkins. I don't. All right, so I've read some of those static books. Hey, what's up, Tevia? Um, Virgil Hawkins. I don't think he has dreads. I think that's an inference that we make from like the TV show, but it, it's not a perm. But like when dudes get the little like mop top thing, and they like just they scrub the little sponge in their hair, and they get all the little curlicues, and then they just get long. I think that's what that is, because them joints don't look like dreads. Either that or like John Paul Leon, late great John Paul Leon. But still, either that or like John Paul Leon didn't know how to draw black people hair. But still, just. But I do appreciate how game recognizes game. Um, that might be a cosplay I do at some point, like a static cosplay. At some point, I used to do static cosplays. Um, I just don't anymore because I can't find the jacket. Like I moved and I can't find the jacket. All right, so since people's hears, oh wait, Adams is which hoodie did you like more from Static? The show with the blue one or the black one? Um, he dates himself really hard with both hoodies. Let me see. I like kind of forgot what Static Shock looked like. With like, hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna like try to. I'm gonna look up like what it looks like. Because I don't like remember what the black one looks like. I remember what like the blue one looks like, but I only remember him with the blue one. Like between seasons like 2 and 3, or like 1 and 2 or whatever, when like he gets the redesign, the only thing I remember changing is like the T-shirt, because the animators of that show recognize that black and gold is like superior to black and white. It just looks way cooler. Uh, let's see. Yeah, no, it looks. Okay, look, guys. Either I'm like completely dumb, or I'm not. I'm not seeing the difference here. Like I'm really not. Like I'll show you. Um. Wait, on second. Okay, so too many tabs. Too many tabs. Too many tabs. I freak. I like freak myself out when I like see any like when I have too many tabs up. It's like my ADD cannot process that. Oh, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna like show you guys what the static suit looked like. Okay, so um there we go. All right, so like look, I mean, okay. it doesn't look that different to me, unless I'm being like really dumb. Wait, no, sorry, oops. There we go. Let me. All right. I swear I'm a. Nope. All right, I'm dumb. Well, hold on a second. Why? All right. This is actually infuriating. So, there we go. Okay, cool. I did it. I mastered technology. So, okay. His costume looks the same. Right? Right? Am I colorblind? Is this the arc where I discover that like Mystical Green Beanie is like actually colorblind and he can't tell colors apart? What's the difference between them? Chat. Am I wrong? Am I actually wrong here? Oh wait. Oh, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. Okay, I just noticed it. The jacket is different. This one's like completely blue and gold with like the little white cuffs. And this one is like black and blue with gold. Oh, okay. Alright. Not one of my finest moments on live stream, but at least I can admit when I'm wrong. But I guess I like the season 2 hoodie a lot more. Although if I'm gonna be like completely real with y'all, I really like the current static design. I don't know who designed that for like the Milestone reboot, which is like really terrible, but like the visuals are fantastic. Like static looks amazing. I think Icon looks amazing. I love Icon's redesign. They kept hardware looking the same, which is just like you had this opportunity to like change hardware's design and you just didn't. Tevye says hi. That's up to. Oh, I already said hi to Tevye. Sorry, I'm just being dumb. Tevye says, question. Speaking of static, that reminds me. How would you bring in gear from the show to the comics? I wouldn't. I'll be honest with you. After reading those original Milestone Static comics, the show I appreciate, but like some stuff in it just I really like Richie as just like the he's not even really the like I can't even say gay best friend because he's not even like Virgil's best friend. He's just one of Virgil's friends because Virgil has like a group of friends. In a weird way, the original Static comics remind me a lot of like Ultimate Spider-Man by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. But like it predates Ultimate Spider-Man by like 7 or 8 years. Like I don't know, just the relationship drama is like very nuanced. The art is fantastic. Like John Paul Leon. Rest in peace, my man. He was so good. His art is so amazing. It's like rough and sketchy, but like still kind of. You know what? I'm like, okay, I'm actually really bad at myself. I was at Baltimore Comic-Con. I probably could have found those back issues, but I didn't. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm dumb. Oh man, that's a major missed opportunity right there. God damn, what's wrong with me? But yeah, those comics are really cool. If you ever get a chance, I would definitely recommend checking out the original Static books. They're high quality. I really want DC to put those back out in like a proper like trade. That would make my day. That would make my year, honestly. Um, Anything you miss from the early 2000s? Um, the weird, creepy, slightly pedophilic like hype between the Olsen twins, and just like the weird stuff that like we don't really think about as being weird or didn't think about as being weird because we were all like unconscious. I miss that. Put me back in the Matrix. I don't like being awake. I prefer the steak. I hate being aware of the horrors of reality. Oh man. Um that's a joke, by the way, just in case like someone clips that and cancels me in the next couple of years. Just that was a joke. Um let's see. But honestly though, anything I missed from the early 2000s? I think comics in the early 2000s were really dope. And that's not really like a nostalgia thing because I don't really get all that nostalgic. Um Also, I didn't really read a lot of comics outside of Batman comics from the early 2000s, which like going back they're actually really bad. But um yeah, no, like I think a lot of the early 2000s like Marvel and DC books are like really good. Like really good. Spider-Man in the early 2000s is fantastic. Uh Batman comics are really bad, but the auxiliary Bat titles like Batgirl, Robin, um I have problems with Nightwing, but I still appreciate what Dixon was doing with Nightwing. Birds of Prey, really good. Um, and then Superman. Superman's fantastic. That's when you get the City of Tomorrow era. Stories like Emperor Joker and whatnot. What else? Early 2000s. Kurt Busiek's run on the Avengers, which I'm reading through currently. Just comics in the early 2000s are really good. I'm I wouldn't even say I like missed those because I wasn't reading a lot of those comics, but like I don't know. I'm remiss that I missed out on comics in the early 2000s. Or at the very least, the comics that like weren't Batman, Flash, and Spider Man. Also, Jeff Johns' Flash was amazing. Um, like one of the best superhero comic runs you'll ever read. I guarantee that. Um, you're not you're not dumb. Back in the day, you needed a brain to read comics. Today's comics make me want to rip my brains out. Uh, it's what I feel you. I feel you. Although I think, all right, I'm gonna be like 1,000,000% real with you. I think there's a lot of really good comics coming out right now. I think the problem with modern comics is just poor marketing. Um, which is ironic because like all the editors working in comics right now are they're just brand managers, and how the hell are brand managers not capable of marketing books? It's one of the things that I have with modern day comics. But like, I think there's a lot coming out from not just Marvel and DC, but like the indies too that are really good. Um, yeah, no, I think like we're in a weird spot right now where there's all like everything is pretty good right now. Um, you know what it is? It's the bad stuff that's getting all the press. Like the negatives are getting all the press, while like the actual good stuff just no one's talking about because it's not being properly marketed. Um, why market Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics, which is one of the best superhero comics coming out right now, and probably the best Superman's been in. I know people love Rebirth, but just in terms of like raw storytelling. I like Rebirth 2 a lot, but just I don't think the Superman book has been this high quality. Like, this high quality. Since, like, maybe the Kurt Busiek era. In, like, 2006. Well, no. I really like Grant Morrison's Action Comics era, but, like, I don't know. I'm not sure how much of that is just me really latching on to, like, ideas. Because in terms of, like, structure, that book has none. And is infuriating to read if you're, like, a human who perceives the universe in 3 dimensions. But, yeah, no, why market that book when you can market Tom Taylor's painfully subpar gay Superboy book? Which isn't... which, from what I've seen, feels like an insult to gay people and bisexual people. So just... wow. You know, it's just stuff like that. You know, like, why market Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto's Daredevil book? Which, I mean, granted, we talk about this all the time. Daredevil's consistently good. It's like that scene in, I think, like, season 1 of The Boys, where Homelander's like, you suck, you suck, you suck, but Black Noir, you're doing good. Daredevil's just Black Noir. He's consistently good. But yeah, no, why hype up, you know, Daredevil when instead you could hype up another Dan Slott Spider-Man comic? Just really irritating stuff like that. So I think when people talk about, like, modern comics being not good, it's a lot of it's just, no, there are good books out there. Just the people behind the brand of Marvel and DC respectively, and the IP gatekeepers aren't doing their jobs and making people excited for actual good comic storytelling content. That's, I don't know. Tevye says, question, speaking of DC Comics, that reminds me, I'm just wondering, what's your opinion on Dark Crisis versus Judgment Day? I'm not reading them. I'm not reading those. Although I have a thing where I just generally tend to not read events as they're coming out. I tend to read events after everything's said and done. Maybe not, like, the best method, but, like, it's the most cost-effective method. I think the last event that I followed and, like, bought everything was the first Dark Knight's Metal. Yeah. I don't even want to think about the money I've just flushed on that book. Well, I don't want to say flushed. I really enjoyed Dark Knight's Metal, but, like, just oof. Yeah, also, like, with all the tie-ins, granted, some of those tie-ins are worth some money, so, I don't have too much to complain about. Get a little Scott Snyder signature there, get a little Greg Capullo signature there, sell on eBay. It's not that bad. But no, after that, never again. I'm not following events in real time ever. Same thing with Heroes in Crisis. Actually, no, I take that back. Heroes in Crisis was the last event that I followed. And I think maybe that's why I don't follow events in real time anymore. All right. What else we got? Oh, looks fine to me. Oh, thank you. Oh, you should probably talk about the static thing we were talking about earlier. Supreme says, I've been reading the Batman comics in Denny O'Neil's editorial era from 1986 to 2000. That was Batman's commercial and artistic peak. Reading the reading list, Dixon's Batman, Dixon's Robin, and Alan Grant's Shadow of the Bat. Yeah, I like okay. I really like Alan Grant's Batman, but in a weird kind of, I have an appreciation for Alan Grant's Batman, but I'm not sure I like Alan Grant's Batman. Like for anyone, okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, like Alan Grant is or was, much rather, um, rest in peace, a consummate um, British 2000 AD writer, and I think artist as well. But his take on Batman, very fittingly, felt very much like Judge Dredd light, and that's not my preferred take on Batman. Granted, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like misreading the intent behind some of the stuff. But at least in like my last read of some of the Batman material from the 80s, I'm just I didn't find myself liking the Alan Grant like Batman voice. Um, that's a Batman that very much feels like a fascist who beats up poor people. um, um, Same thing with Chuck Dixon's Batman. I don't like Chuck Dixon's Batman. He's just, I mean, I like his voice for Bruce Wayne, but just his take on Batman as like an institution in Gotham City, it very much feels like a rich guy who beats up poor people, which is just not the take on Batman that I don't know. It's not my thing. Toby says, I've been rereading Superman Rebirth, and it's really awesome. Yeah, it's really good. A lot of that stuff holds up really well. 616 Man says, Static Shock. Hey, what's up, 616? How you living? Static Shock and Milestone Comics equals wasted potential characters because of rights issues and Dwayne. Oh, with Dwayne creators and DCWB corporate BS. Yeah, well, that's like the unfortunate. That's like the real tragedy behind Milestone, or the original launch of Milestone. Just like legitimately great characters, a wonderful, rich world, just brimming with so much narrative potential, and everything falls apart because of behind the scenes BS. Yeah, it's a damn shame, and you can honestly kind of see it in the later Milestone material, like Static starts off like right here in terms of quality. By the time you get like 35 or 40 issues in, it goes down here, and it's not one of those like it's just like a you're here and then you're here. Just what happened? like and I think you can probably say the same for some of the other Milestone books. Although I didn't read all of them. I know a lot of people really like Blood Syndicate, but it didn't really catch my attention. It has some interesting ideas though. I'll say that. I also wasn't a big fan of like Icon and Rocket. I mean, not that I hate Icon and Rocket, it just didn't really hold my attention. Um, uh, what about Duo Comics from the relaunch Milestone Comics? I haven't checked those out. Should I? Do you think they're good? Because I'll check out some new comics if you got a good recommendation for me. Adam says, funny you say that. The writer actually said on interviews he based Static on Peter Parker and his life since he felt that the Whiteboard character arcs were groundbreaking and genre bending. Well, I mean, yeah, I think that might have been like doing McDuffie. Well, that's like the thing with Spider-Man. Up until like the early '60s, superhero teen superheroes were all sidekicks. They were all relegated to the background. People didn't like teenagers. Teenagers scared the living shit out of everybody. You know, they could care less as long as somebody, bled out in the street. That's why you had to darken your clothes and strike a violent pose. Because maybe they'll leave you alone. But not me. I swear, if like no one gets that reference, all of y'all are fired. Everyone's fired. Everyone's fired. I'm gonna like fire the nuclear launch codes. I can't live in a world where nobody gets My Chemical Romance references. I can't do it. I refuse to partake in such reality. But yeah, no, like Spider-Man comics were like really groundbreaking in the '60s because just what other teen superheroes did you have? You had Robin, you had Wonder Girl, you had Aqualad, you had Speedy, and Kid Flash. How the fuck did I forget Kid Flash? He's my favorite superhero. How did I forget him? Anyways, yeah, you had like those characters, and they were all sidekicks. All of them are sidekicks. They're not important at all. Spider-Man shows up and he is a main character. That is new. That is brand spanking new for the time. It's dynamic. It's bold. It's brave. It's like putting pouches on your costume in the '90s. Just it was dynamic and bold and brave. Or I guess the '80s, because by the time you get to the '90s, everyone's putting pouches on their costumes. It's dumb and annoying. But yeah, man, Dwayne McDuffie just recognizes. He recognized what was up. He man of culture. 616 says, barely heard anything about Milestone reboot, relaunch, retcon, reinterpretation. Yeah. I felt bad because I met a couple Milestone artists at Baltimore Comic Con, and I was like, they were really chill dudes, but I was just like, I didn't have the balls to be like, so what the fuck y'all doing? Like, what's happening over there? Why do these books suck? I just didn't have it in me to say that. Plus, that'd be rude. Like, I'm not gonna be a dick. I'm not gonna do that. But still, just I mean, you're free to like Richie as a superhero. It's the thing that David Michelinie kind of bitches about with James Rhodes being War Machine. Is it Michelinie, or maybe it's Bob Layden who's bitching about this? But one of the creators of Rhodey just does not like War Machine as a concept at all. He created Rhodey to be just like a chill dude who Tony hung out with, and he was like the human anchor to those Iron Man stories. And I feel like Richie is he's one of Virgil's human anchors. Although I also think Frida serves that role too. Just like Frida's like boyfriend, who has a weird, complicated relationship with Virgil, which I think is fascinating. Um, uh, it is like one of the human anchors for Virgil, um, and I think making them superheroes kind of defeats the purpose of, I guess like the it breaks the world building, destroys the continuity. Um, 2000s comics. Wait, is that the right way? Is that how it's supposed to be on this? No, that's that. Okay, that looks like I'm saying less than. So 2000s comics. There you go. Perfect. Um, Spider-Man 2007 is where everything goes to hell for the character. Yeah, man. All starts with Spider-Man 3. What a damn shame. um, but yeah, no, I feel you. One more day. Wow, cool. Another retcon. I was talking about that with Jack Genocide. Um, like that's such a weird retcon, and it makes a lot of Spider-Man stories not make sense. Like, okay, so we're going to retroactively say that like, no. So like, all the Spider-Man stories from like 1984 to 2007, they still happened, but Peter Parker and MJ, they just weren't married. That doesn't make sense. Like that doesn't make sense at all. Um, in fact, there are narrative beats that are hit in the bulk of like Spider-Man's 80s and 90s like adventures solely because Peter and MJ were married. Like, okay, so when Black Cat shows back up in Peter's life after basically dumping him because she hated his face. And then Venom shows up and then breaks Felicia's face and is like, oh, he doesn't live here anymore. I have to go find Parker and his wife. And Felicia's like, his wife? Yeah. Like, that completely changed the dynamic between Spider-Man and Black Cat up until the mid-2000s. You don't get that if Peter and MJ aren't married. Like, also just, like, stories, also, again, involving Black Cat, like, The Evil That Men Do, which is a Kevin Smith story that took, like, 10 years to come out. It didn't take that long, but it fucking felt like it. The whole reason, why Peter is so reluctant to get involved with Felicia, like the core drama behind that story, besides the retconning of Felicia being raped as a teenager, is that Pete and MJ are married. Peter's a married man now. He can't go like, wrapping ropes around around the Empire State Building with Black Cat like he did when he was like in college, because he's a married man now. You don't get that if Pete and MJ were never married, or the whole newlywed thing where like Pete and MJ go off on their honeymoon and then they're attacked by the freaking puma, like that. The One More Day retcon works if you don't think about it. If you just don't think about it, it works. If you think about it, then just everything falls apart and it's dumb. Oof. Y'all got me freaking out about One More Day. I need to drink my tea. Oh, Flash by Jeremy Adams is amazing. That up there with um, Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Action Comics. Up there with Ram V's run on Detective Comics, as well as Ram V's run on Swamp Thing. No one's talking about that book, but like Jeremy Adams' Flash is such a W for Flash fans. Like, it's literally giving Flash fans everything we've been asking for over a decade. Excuse me. And no one's talking about it. No one's reading it, I don't think. It's just kind of infuriating. You know, it's that situation where, fellas, we gotta do better. You know, like, we can't keep asking for things and then getting said things and then just not supporting the thing that we said we wanted. Support Jeremy Adams' Flash book. It's amazing. Literally just everything that you could want in a Flash comic is coming out right now because of Jeremy Adams, and it's amazing. My coaster got stuck on my tea. Spring says the reason why you don't like 2000s Batman in the comics is because after Denny O'Neil left as editor in the early 2000s, the Batman comics decayed in quality. War Games, yeah, the Heroes in Crisis of Batman. That's a great way of putting it. You know what? Okay. You're right, I don't like War Games. Just like I don't like Under the Red Hood. I don't like that comic at all. I think the movie's 1,000 times better, and whenever people talk about Under the Red Hood, what they're really talking about is the movie, because the comic kind of sucks. Jed Winick redeemed himself with that. And I think we should allow more comic creators to do that, you know? Like, oh, I wrote this really crappy comic, let me fix it. I feel like Joe Kelly did that with, like, the Action Comics 775. I don't like that story. Like, I don't like that story at all. But I think the movie's fun. You know, I think the movie's pretty cool. But back to Batman. All the problems that I have with War Games and War Drums and the Bruce Wayne, Murderer, Fugitive, all that whole era of like the early 2000s spins out of what I don't like about Batman throughout the 90s and that post Dark Knight Returns era. I said this before and I'll say it again. I really feel like everybody read Dark Knight Returns and was like, this is Batman now. And the whole point of that story is that, like, the Batman from Dark Knight Returns is, like, not the ideal Batman. The Batman from Dark Knight Returns is a fucking fascist psycho. Like, that's the... But that just kind of became the standard for Batman comics throughout the 90s. And then by the time you get to the early 2000s, that version of Batman within the mainline continuity had sort of decayed into the most parodic version of itself. And that's when, like, all the scenes start to show and, like, the whole thing starts to fall apart. And that's also where Grant Morrison basically comes in and, like, scoops Batman in his arms and says, hey, I got you, baby. It's all good. It's all good. I'll treat you right. I'll fix you. I'll feed you. I'll take you for walks. Or, you know, whatever it is decent boyfriends do, or whatever. I don't know. Tom Taylor's Son of Kal-El has been a failure and it's over. Well, it's getting a continuation, so enough people liked it, I guess. Um, ah! Um, okay, there we go. I scrolled too aggressively. Um, Also on Batman, um, I'm tired of Damian and Jason getting so much focus in both comics and adaptations. They take focus away from other members of the Bat family like Tim, Cass, and Steph. Yeah. Although Tim is weird. Tim has been like the golden child for like the bulk of his existence. Um, until Damian showed up. Once Damian showed up, I feel like DC animation and like DC video games kind of just ignored Tim's existence, which is weird to me. Actually, now that I think about it, outside of the DC animated universe movies, is Tim Drake even in the DC like direct to video animated films like at all? I don't think so. He's not in Under the Red Hood. In fact, that movie just kind of like. So in the comic in the comic Death in the Family, it's kind of implied that immediately after the events of like Jason Todd's death, well, not immediately after, but like a couple weeks after the events of Jason Todd's death, and then Joker becomes the Ayatollah, which the whole thing. It's kind of like Tim Drake shows up like a couple weeks after Jason dies, and then becomes the new Robin like almost immediately. Whereas in the End of the Red Hood movie, like Jason dies, and then Batman's just sad for like 5 years. Which is pretty funny. And it works for that movie, but Tim's not in that movie at all. He's not in the New 52 animated movies at all. Yeah, Tim Drake just gets completely ignored in like all the DC animated stuff. Up until not up until he's just not in them. Holy crap! Wow, that's weird. But I don't know. I do feel like I do want to see other members of the Bat family shine. But I'd also like to see them bounce off each other too. Like, that's why I say what you will about Gotham Knights. I really appreciate how that game is expanding the Bat family, like, corner of the DC universe and the Batverse. And showing the dynamic between, Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood. It would be nice to have spoiler in that game. Although I think like spoiler's not in that game because they really want to push Tim Drake being with Bernard, which sucks. I have like a whole thing with that. Look, guys. Okay. Tim can be bisexual. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But just because Tim is bi does not mean that you have to erase the history that he had with his first long-term girlfriend. Like, it's the whole point of being bisexual. There's an attraction to both men and women. You can have Bernard be there, but you can also acknowledge Stephanie is like a major character in Tim Drake's like romantic development, and also like development as like a hero and as like a person. Like I don't know. But yeah, whatever. It's a weird. Spoiler feels like a drop ball. It's a damn shame. Brian Q. Miller just needs to come back to DC Comics and like, be like, hey guys, I got you. just bring back Spoiler in a big bad way and like, we good. 616, Dark Knight's Metal. Once again, Scott Snyder thinks he's Grant Morrison, but take the good with the bad and resell the issues. You know what? I've definitely said that a lot in the past. I kind of like to amend myself on that. I don't think Scott Snyder is like a discount version of Grant Morrison. I think Scott Snyder shares a lot of the same ideas that Grant Morrison has regarding the DC universe, but he's building on them. Like he's building on those ideas rather than just like straight up copying them. I think, in his larger DC universe stuff, his Batman stuff is largely just like, hey, let's follow Grant Morrison's Batman beat for beat, and that's not Snyder's fault. That is not Scott Snyder's fault. That's the editor's fault. An editor should have caught that. Like an editor really should have caught that, but that's neither here nor there because that runs like 10 years old now, so who cares? But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Scott Snyder's Justice League was really good. Oh yeah, your favorite Superman moment, dude. Scott Snyder and Jorge Jimenez's run on Justice League, I think, is really damn good. Justice League is a weird book in the sense that, like, it kind of sucks for most of its history. If we're gonna be honest, like, okay, what are the great Justice League runs throughout history? You got Grant Morrison and Howard Porter. You have Scott Snyder and Jorge Jimenez. I think Mark Waid's run on Justice League is pretty good. Jack Kirby's superpowers, yeah, Justice League is not a great book, really. Okay, I also really like the Brad Meltzer run. I think Brad Meltzer had a pretty good run on Justice League with I think it was Tony Daniel doing the art, although I'm not sure. But yeah, Justice League is just not usually all that great. Let's see. Supreme says, on Jason, do you feel he should have stayed dead? Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'll read the rest of the comment. For me, even though Red Hood is popular, he should have never been resurrected. His revival removes Batman's second greatest tragedy and undermines Tim's arc as Robin. I don't even got to say anything else. Yes, absolutely. Now, granted, now that Jason is here, you know, because time normalizes things, and it's in a bizarre twist of fate, Jason has now been Red Hood longer than he was ever Robin. I do appreciate what Chip Zdarsky, I think it was Chip Zdarsky in Urban Legends, has been trying to do with the character of Jason Todd, in that we're trying to progress Jason out of that more kind of like discount Punisher until he joins the Bat family and he's just rubber bullets man type character where like it just feels like no one really knows what they're doing with him, and just getting rid of the guns entirely and having him just beat up criminals with a crowbar. Honestly, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it took us like 15 years to get here, but better late than never. Warren Ellis's Thunderbolts is way better than Kurt. Let's retcon everything that isn't the Silver Age Busiek's Thunderbolts. Oh, that sucks. Is Kurt Busiek doing that? Or are you just making fun of Kurt Busiek? I like Kurt Busiek stuff. Although Kurt Busiek definitely has some takes like that. Like I saw him going like a whole Twitter thread about how DC rebooting Superman and getting rid of the whole Superboy history is like a terrible idea, and I was like, "What? Ugh, stop, Kurt, stop. That's horrible. No." I'm in like a strong minority here, or I'm in a strong minority among Superman fans. I don't like Clark Kent being like a young Superboy superhero in Smallville as a teenager. I don't like that idea at all. I also don't like the Legion of Superheroes showing up and then taking Clark to the future and showing him that he's going to be this great big superhero and like basically be Space Jesus when he gets older. I feel like that robs the character of his agency. I feel like having Superman go to the future with like the Legion of Superheroes, see that he's gonna be this like messianic figure basically for the DC universe, then come back to the the present day or the past or whatever and be like, I guess I'll go off and be a Superman. That really undercuts Clark making the decision to be Superman, I feel. And I one of the things I like Superman is that Clark making that leap to like really come out to the world and be like, this is me. You know, I am representing my alien heritage as well as, you know, what I believe in terms of like the principles that were instilled in me like as a child, and you know some of the principles and ideals that I like came to as an adult as I grew and changed over the years. This is who I am, and this is me sharing that with the world. I feel like a lot of that gets undercut if you just have him go to the future and then like see what he's gonna look like when he's like 25 at age 15. I don't like that. Why does Kurt Busiek have to retcon everything that fans didn't ask an explanation for? I don't know. Is that a thing Kurt Busiek does a lot? I think the last big in-continuity thing I read from him was Superman. And he brings back a lot of stuff from like the Silver Age. I thought it was done tastefully, but I mean, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'll have to reread it again. Tevye says, I've been reading Duo comics and it's been really interesting. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, there we go, 616 man. I knew I liked it in you. You cool. You're invited to the cookout. I like you. Supreme says, when he was editor, O'Neill wrote a Bat Bible to ensure tight world building and consistency. That may sound limiting, but having a set of rules for the mythos-inspired writers to tell their best stories. Well, that's the thing I think a good editor does. I think an editor, like, basically gives the writing team and the artists, as well as like the pencil artists, implying like pencilers, inkers, letterers as well. Like everyone is working on those characters in their respective titles. It's like handing them like a D&D guidebook, like the Dungeons and Dragons like player's handbook. Like, hey, this is the world. These are the rules. If you break the rules, then you're breaking the. Don't break the rules. Just don't break the rules. That's all you gotta do. And it's very telling that like a lot of editors right now don't do that. Like it's painfully obvious that a lot of editors don't do that anymore. And I wish they did. Well, I've scrolled to aggressively once more, and I can't find where I left off. So, an hour into the stream, let's talk about some of the books that I got at Baltimore Comic Con. Or not got at Baltimore Comic Con, but got signed. As well as got, because I did buy a bunch of comics at Baltimore Comic Con. It's a bad place for that, so I'm just going to put that there. In the bad place that I said was a bad place for it. Cool. Alright, counterintuitive thinking, let's go. Alright, so, here we go. Satellite radio. Y'all getting hit with the boom boom. Alright. Oh man, I have all of these completely out of order. That sucks. Alright, so, okay. Oh wait, these are upside down. No, it's so infuriating. I'm completely. Oh no, I've been slightly inconvenienced. The world is over. I hate it. Oh man, that sucks. Well, sorry, it's okay. I can fix this. Don't worry, internet. I didn't break reality. Reality's broken me. Okay. So, right off the bat, I didn't get all my comics signed. There were some creators that were not there. Namely, Mark Waid wasn't there. Mark Waid had to cancel. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. Creators are allowed to cancel it. I kind of wish they didn't. They wouldn't have brought all these heavy ass comics in my backpack. But it's all good. So okay. Does that look janky on my? No, it doesn't. It just looks janky in front of my face. So first off, we have here a very funny and very hilariously tragic story of how I tried to get my comics, specifically my Daredevil comics, signed by Ann Nocenti. So, Ann Nocenti, right? Prominent Daredevil writer. Did this whole big run with John Romita Jr. I kind of vaguely know that her run goes from the mid 200s up to the 300s, early 300s. So I'm thinking bet I'll get Ann Nocenti to write, not write, but to sign these copies of the Last Rites 4-issue miniseries. Totally, right? Cool. Turns out, as soon as I put these on her desk, she's like, I didn't write those. Who wrote these? Bro, what are you doing? Um, bro, I was like so embarrassed. I was so angry. I was, that was just not a good look. On multiple levels, but yeah. Has anyone else ever done that with like a creator? Like you go to a convention and you're like, "Hey, sign this," and they're like, "I didn't write this," or "I didn't draw this." The fuck is this? Haunts me. Haunts me. Um, Speaking of Kurt Busiek, moving on from my my trauma. I had this book. It's like Action Comics 850. Kurt Busiek and Jeff Johns weren't there. Neither was Renato Guides. But Fabian Nicieza was there. And his line was like right next to Innocentes, but I just didn't. I wasn't gonna get in that line. I was not gonna get in that line at all. He's a cool guy though. You know, I joked with him on Twitter before. He's a chill dude. But his line blew way too damn long. I wasn't gonna get in that line. I also didn't get this signed. I love Lee Weeks. He's an amazing artist. But I kind of just like awkwardly stood at his desk, just like watching him draw the Hulk. Also, my girlfriend, she aggressively pointed out, "Yeah, you got to draw the Hulk's nipples because the Hulk has nipples. Draw his nipples." And Lee Weeks was like, "Oh, all right, I was gonna get to it, but drew the nipples in there." And then we started talking about like mermaid nipples for some reason. I don't know why. But still, I'm remiss I didn't get this signed by Lee Weeks. But Lee Weeks also just seemed like he was just fucking over these goddamn dorks walking up to his table, asking him questions about shit. Like, just, I get it. I respect that vibe. So I just left him the hell alone. Oh, sweet. Okay. I also got this Journey into Mystery. I think this is not Journey into Mystery. That's the word. But Mystery in Space is like a one shot for Adam Strange. I got this signed by Jerry Ordway. I wore the hell out of this book when I was a kid. I have no idea how it's in as good a condition as it's in. But I absolutely love the stories in this. It's really cool. Adam Strange is really dope. I love Adam Strange. I wish more was done with him. That did not involve him either being a war criminal and killing himself or just dying. Be nice to get some positive representation for Adam Strange, but I don't know. I'm just some dumb comic book nerd. But still talking about Jerry Ordway. We have here Action Comics annual. Is this number 1? No, this is number 2. From the reboot. The reboot from Post Crisis. The original War Saga. You can see like there's just a whole slew of amazing artists, and oh my god, Brett Breeding did this too. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. No, Adam, you're wrong. I am dumb. Brett Breeding was like at the con, and I didn't get him to sign this. I told him he was gonna come back, and I didn't. I'm dumb. All right, whatever. Well, anyways, I got the sign by Jerry Ordway, and it's really cool. Also, I love this era for Superman. This is the like one of the first post John Byrne Superman stories. This is part of Exile, I believe, and it's where so set up for Exile. John Byrne's run on Superman ends. I see a couple people in this. I see a couple people watching right now. Give me some more likes. Thank you. There we go. But John Byrne's run on Superman ends with Superman killing General Zod and Feora and I think it's Namek, but it might be Non. I don't know. But it's a hulking brute dude. And yeah, after Superman murders these like 3 Kryptonian like eugenicists, basically, Clark goes back to his home dimension because this happened in like a different pocket dimension or whatever. And he's like, damn, I like really killed 3 people right there. And then he feels really guilty about it, so he just backpacks through space to find himself. And hijinks ensue, but he gets captured and kidnapped by Mongol, and he has to fight on Warworld. That's a really good story. I really wish it was better collected. But yeah, no, that's what this is a part of, and it's where you get this like really cool moment where Superman is on Warworld and Mongol is trying to get Superman to murder all of his opponents, and Clark has this declaration where he's like, I am Kal-El of Krypton and Superman of Earth, and I do not kill. It's so cool. Actually, let me build this bitch up. This comic's great. I absolutely I adore the story. Oh, there you go. It's like Jerry Ordway's signature on there, I think, a little better. Can you? It's like, so what, like that? There you go. It's like bright pink. Jerry Ordway's really cool, by the way, too. Yeah, he's a great guy. But, oh man, look at the art in this. Oh, dude. Just opening up like the first page, this art is awesome. It's so cool. I love the like different races and different species that are depicted in this book. That's like a thing, people often talk about how DC's cosmology is not as good as Marvel's because it's not as well defined. But honestly, I don't know. I think that's one of the things I kind of like about DC's cosmic landscape. It's so kind of like loosey-goosey that you can kind of do anything with the cosmos in DC's comics. And this book is like a clear example of that. You also have Superman like changing into like a gladiatorial outfit, but the chick who's like walking away with his clothes and like giving him like a change of outfits is taking the cape away, and he's like, "Get back here with my cape! I'm Superman. Give me my cape." But nah, dude, the art in this is like really cool. It's like striking and beautiful. I think this is a Kurt Swan page that I just showed you too. Interesting. Weird. But nah, dude, like okay, wait, where is it? It's the somewhere it's like, I do not kill. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's like it's like near the end. There we go. All right. Yeah. All right. So Mongol does the gladiator where he just puts the thumb down. And Superman's like, I have a name, Tyrant. It's Superman. I don't kill. That's, God, this comic is so amazing. It's really cool reading this and then reading the current War World saga. Um, because like in a weird way, like so much of what Philip Kennedy Johnson and Ricardo Federico were doing with War World Saga is influenced by this, like in ways that I like didn't even pick up on when I first read War World Saga, or like I mean I never finished reading War World Saga because I'm reading the whole thing in trade, but yeah, this comic's amazing. God, I love Superman so much. But yeah, this is Jerry Ordway's signature, and I'm like really proud of it that I got these signed. Another signature that I'm really proud of getting signed is Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. This is a classic DC Comics artist. And I just broke the table on this. Nice. He's like a classic DC Comics artist. His Batman and really his depiction of like the DC universe just is the standard depiction of the DC universe as far as I'm concerned. But I really like this Batman 66 like hypothetical Two-Face episode. Who's the writer for this? Oh, Lynn Wein. Oh, weird. Wait, is it Lynn Wein? Yeah, man, it's Lynn Wein. Rest in peace, dude. Yeah, no, like Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. He's an amazing person. He's really cool. Really sweet in real life. And I'm glad I got this signed. He's just so dope. And yeah, no, this is really cool. Oh, and speaking of the War World, look what I got signed. It's the War World Apocalypse by Philip Kennedy Johnson. He also, I'm not sure if you guys can see it on here. He personalized it to the Mystical Green Beanie, MGB. Wait, actually, hold on a second. I'm gonna take this out of my comic book condom here, so you guys can see. All right, here we go. All right, for Mystical Green Beanie, with thanks, Philip Kennedy Johnson. Yeah, I'm. This is so cool, man. God, I love this book so much. I mean, I have like no idea what the hell's going on because like I'm reading War World Saga in trade, so this is the end of it. I basically spoiled the story for myself, but this was great. Yeah, man, this is so cool. Also, this moment where like Apollo like frees himself is like awesome and kind of feels like Johnson making up for Apollo's comedically embarrassing history of being a jobber. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have ever read The Authority or not, but something that's kind of like weird in that comic is that Apollo is basically the Superman of the Wildstorm universe, and he's always the first to go down. Like, he always gets bested by somebody. He always gets bitched, and it's just like, bro, it's Superman. What? Apparently, though, I think like in an interview, Warren Ellis kind of talked about that, and he did that all the time to kind of just like show off how powerful the enemy that the Authority were facing at the time was. But like, I don't know, I think you can, there are other ways to do that instead of just like having the most powerful player get bitch slapped. I don't know. It's one of the problems that I have with the DC animated universe like take on Superman. Like I feel like especially when you get to Justice League. The Justice League will like see a giant threat, and then Superman, just being an idiot, will just lunge at it and like, and then Superman just out for the count. And then Batman has to save the day because Batman is cooler than Superman. I have so many problems with the DC animated universe in retrospect. It's like kind of annoying. Let me read some chats before. Let's see. Tevia says, question, I'm wondering, have you seen the Battle of the Super Sons animated movie yet? And Black Adam, because I watched both movies and Super Sons was amazing and Black Adam I thought was fine. Yeah, well, I posted a review for Black Adam. I thought it was alright. My big problem with Black Adam is that, like, it's this, like, really dumb action movie, which I kind of accept early on. It's just a dumb action movie until it starts, like pulling its pants down and flashing me with, like, hey, I have a cool idea here. And it's like, oh, cool idea. And then the movie just zips its pants up and says, like, oh, no, what are you talking about? Action. It's like, wait, you had a cool idea. What do you... I want to go back to that cool idea you just had. And it's like, okay, here, cool, another cool idea. And it's like, oh, sweet. And then it's just like, all right, and more action. Like, I'm not saying every movie has to be like Melancholia. You know, not every movie has to be, you know, a Serbian film or The Witch or, you know, like Blade Runner or something. Like, and not every superhero movie has to be The Dark Knight. You know, I'm not saying that. But it's just kind of infuriating that, like, Black Adam is like a script revision away from being a legitimately fascinating comic book movie. And it just settles for being dumb movie with, like, kind of cool ideas thrown out there, but, like, not actually expounded on. I don't know. But I love Battle of the Super Sons, though. And, hey, that's Jeremy Adams on a complete W streak, my man. Hey. It was also great to see Damian and John hanging out as, like, kids again. That was just something I, like, completely... I missed that. I really missed that. Some of the continuity is a little weird, though. Like you have Damian talking to Cassie Sandsmirk, and they're, like, around the same age. And also, like, Wally West, like, classic Wally West is the Kid Flash in that movie. So, like, the ages don't really make sense, but I'm just not thinking about it. I'm just like, all right, those are just cool Easter eggs, I guess. But yeah, no. Outside of that, I really like Battle of the Super Sons. It just reminded me of, like, the Super Sons, the Rebirth era comics, and I love that. It's so cool. Tevye says, question, I'm wondering how you feel about Black Cat and Spider-Man being in a romance after Dark. I don't care. I do not care. It's a lot of modern Spider-Man comics are just kind of off my radar now. 616 Man says, the new Milestone reboot books feel like they're trying too hard to be mainstream, relevant, and topical to the point where it's just preachy and annoying. I felt that when they had Static's origin get retooled to be him at like a BLM rally, and I was like, "You're guys, you're missing the point of Virgil's origin as a superhero." But whatever, it is what it is. Um, oh, Supreme Omega's got a hot take. All right, let's see what this is. On Kamala, this is a hot take. Okay, let's see what we got. But I don't like Kamala. Once I don't like Kamala once joined the Avengers. Um, and later became the leader of the Champions. In my view, it takes the focus away from Jersey City with her supporting cast. Well, that's just a problem that I think a character like Kamala Khan faces in uh, like current era comics. She's a character that got way too popular, way too fast, and all the like really cool, interesting character building stuff got kind of like sucked away, um, because she's popular, so she has to show up in everybody's book, and it's like, what? Just, hey, shut the mate, just calm down, just let the character breathe for a little bit, you know. Let her get her sea legs, and then we can do more stuff with her. But yeah, what are you gonna do? The Supreme says on One More Day, JMS proposed a 100% reboot. Yeah, he did. Yeah, with a detailed timeline. In his view, erasing the marriage drastically alters decades of stories, but Quesada said it's magic, so we don't got to explain it. Yeah, I think that was like that's the big thing that kind of breaks Spider-Man post One More Day. It just doesn't. It shit don't make sense, but it's magic, so it's whatever. It's not supposed to make sense. Whatever. Okay, so Tevia. Question. Why do you think Marvel hates Peter Parker and Mary Jane having kids? Because frankly, I feel like their logic makes no sense. It's just garbage. Because other characters like Superman and Batman have, or I guess what you're gonna say is other characters like Batman and Superman have kids. I think the big problem that Spider-Man faces is just a major misconception. Um, like from within Marvel Comics, which makes it like doubly worse. I think a lot of people who are in charge of Marvel Comics and the characters of Marvel Comics, they have this perception of the character of Peter Parker, that he is the kid of the Marvel Universe, despite the fact that this kid had his 10-year high school reunion 18 years ago, which means he's like 28 in like 2004. And look, I'm not gonna try to like attribute too much math to the Marvel Universe, because the Marvel Universe time doesn't really make any sense. But in 2004, the Runaways were in high school, like freshman high school, like early high school. Now the Runaways are like in their late teens and 20s. Peter Parker's at least 35. Like this, you feel me? Like Peter Parker's like at least inching to his mid 40s. Not mid 40s, mid 30s. So like, I don't know. This whole perception of like Peter Parker has to be the kid, it's just weird, and you're completely missing the point of that character. Because the point of Spider-Man is progression. You're again, Godzilla Mendoza said it best, I think. the story of Spider-Man isn't about a kid being a superhero. It's about watching a kid become a man because he's a superhero. Um, I think that's just an idea that Marvel just, I can't whistle, but there we go, something like that, kind of. But it goes over their heads. They don't. They're not picking up on that. But it is what it is. The best thing I can do is just not buy the book anymore, frankly. And I can buy older books that do get it. Speaking of older comics, here's Shadow of the Bat. I really wanted to get this signed by Walt Simonson, but he's, Walt Simonson's line was long, like I'm talking male porn star appendage long. That thing had to get capped, and the end cap for the line was at least a basketball court away from the table. Like, just, I wasn't gonna sit in that line. I was not gonna do it. But one of these days, I'm going to get one of my comics from Walt Simonson signed. That also goes for, I had Shadow of the Bat. I also had, here we go, Thor issue 340. This comic's really cool. Walt Simonson's Thor run is like complete magic, and I absolutely love it. And I really do want to get this signed one day. So maybe the next con I'll get it signed. Knock on wood, because I said that last time about George Perez, and that didn't. Well, I have my regrets. I'll put it like that. I did, however, get this issue of World of Krypton signed by Howard Chaykin, and Howard Chaykin's a cool guy, but my meeting with him was very awkward and weird. I'm not sure if you guys saw the Halloween stream that I did, but basically what I wore in that Halloween stream was what I wore at Baltimore Comic-Con. It was the Deadpool onesie with the Green Lantern t-shirt underneath it. And whenever people asked me what I was wearing, my response was, I'm Ryan Reynolds in blackface. And Howard Chaykin's one of the first people to really ask me that. He's like, so what are you doing? You're Deadpool, you're Green Lantern, what's going on? You got, what's your shtick? And I said, I'm Ryan Reynolds in blackface. And Howard Chaykin didn't like that. Didn't like that joke. As soon as I made it, he just kind of gave me a look while he was signing my World of Krypton. Which, by the way, as soon as I pulled this book out of my backpack and showed it to him, he was just like, oh. I think he said he had no good memories about this comic. Which, goddamn, I wish I had something that he enjoyed drawing, but oh well, that's what I got. But yeah, that was a fun experience. Let me go back to some more chats in here. 616 Man says retcons or reboots are annoying at times. Example, Spider-Man being molested. Okay, Skip Westcott is not canon. That did not happen. And I regret making that 5 random facts video where I say that Peter got molested. That didn't happen in continuity. That's a weird Elseworld story. Skip Westcott does not exist in continuity until someone makes it canon. which I really hope that doesn't happen. But if it did, well then, shit, man. Yeah, that's just a clusterfuck waiting to happen. Um, but retcons reboots are annoying at times. Examples: Spider-Man being molested, parents, great power and responsibility. That graphic novel, that was awful. But that's definitely out of continuity because that story ends with like Peter getting picked up by like Uncle Ben and not getting shot. Like that story doesn't count. But the quote being retconned as Uncle Ben's speech. Isn't that always the case though? Like, isn't that at the end of Amazing Fantasy 15? Doesn't Peter Parker say like Uncle Ben always said, "With great power comes great responsibility"? Or maybe that's just some shit that like he thinks of on the fly. I don't know. I haven't read Amazing Fantasy 15 in like a brick. But yeah, no, I definitely feel you. Like a lot of like the retcon reboot machine is very annoying. It's very infuriating. 616 Man says for Marvel and DC, Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, and Superman have the worst retcons and reboots. Well, not all of them. I definitely I really like most of the updated Superman origins that we get. The only one that I don't like is Secret Origin by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I'm not a fan of that story. Also, Superman Birthright, I like less and less as time goes on. But yeah, no, I really like John Byrne's Man of Steel. I despite the problems that I have with it, I think Birthright's pretty cool. I really like Grant Morrison's take on the Superman origin from the New 52. And I thought Man and Superman was pretty alright, by Marv Wolfman. I thought it was pretty cool. So no, I think some of the retcons and reboots that Superman gets are pretty cool. Just like Grant Morrison's retcon for Batman throughout the Silver Age is I mean, it's a little out there. Like saying that the reason why Batman went to I went to another dimension and I found the Batman of Ziranar. Or in this other adventure, Robin and I fought cave trolls in Counter Earth. Saying that those stories happened while Bruce Wayne was like tripping balls and tweaking on like heroin in the backseat of the Batmobile in the Batcave while Robin's at school is it's a little it's a little testy. But I think it works. Like, look, I'm not sure if you know this, but Bruce Wayne's a billionaire, and billionaires have a tendency to be fucking insane. So I can totally see Bruce Wayne doing that. Although Chip Zdarsky in this current run on Batman is like actively kind of like softening some of that. So instead of going like, Batman did drugs, it's like actually Batman put like a weird, Cerebro headpiece on in the Batcave and like saw alternate realities, but I like Grant Morrison's retcon better. W says, what about Cassandra Cain, aka Batgirl? She's technically from the early 90s. Early 90s? No, I don't think she goes back that far. Because she's a character who shows up in like the middle of No Man's Land, and that's like a late 90s story, right? technically the Lego Batman games don't ignore Tim Drake's existence. You're right. You're right. Lego Batman for the win. Lego Batman supremacy. Yes. Yes. Those games are so addicting. I loved playing those when I was a little kid on my PSP, back when I had a PSP. I shouldn't have sold my PSP. What did I sell it for? Fucking like skateboard parts, which I don't use anymore because I haven't really been on a skateboard in forever. Like, wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. Supreme says, on Morrison's Batman, I don't know why they sidelined Tim. Morrison could have had both Tim and Damian interact and develop a bond that would have soothed the Tim Drake fans and made Damian a more legit successor. Well, okay, so the thing that I think people forget about Morrison's Batman is that Morrison's Batman run is broken up into 3 parts. And throughout the entirety of Act 1, Tim Drake is Robin. Like, up until Bruce's death at the tail end of Batman R.I.P., Tim Drake is Robin. Like, things like Beware the Black Glove, Batman R.I.P., Batman and Son. Like, no, Tim Drake is Robin throughout that whole run. So, like, no, Tim's there. It's not like it's not like Damian just shows up and, like, Tim's chopped liver. Like, nah. In fact, Damian dies at the end of Batman and Son, or I guess dies. No, Tim's a pretty major player in Morrison's Batman run. It's just that Bruce Wayne died. And then Dick Grayson became the new Batman. And you had to do something with Damian at the time. So Damian becomes the new Robin. No, I thought it was perfect because also Tim goes off and does his own thing. He becomes his own man. I mean, I still think his name was terrible, but, like, you know, I think it worked. I really think it worked. Also, speaking of Damian Wayne, I saw on the poll that I posted, I think yesterday, of the people who voted, 50% agree with me that Damian will make a great Flame Bird. And like 40% of people are like, who the fuck is Flame Bird? Okay, so let me, like, address that whole poll real quick. So, I have this whole train of thought, and this comes from a Twitter post that I saw that kind of miffed me, and I wanted to, like, respond, but, like, I was also at work, and it's like, why am I, I'm not gonna get into a whole Twitter argument while I'm at work, like, that's stupid. But, I think it's like a preview for one of the upcoming, Chip Zdarsky issues on Batman, which, by the way, that run's amazing. I have issue, like, 129 here or whatever. Yeah, it's 129. Book's really good, but in the preview for, I think, issue 130, you see this massive, like, 2-page splash of Batman and Robin running towards Failsafe, who's, like, the main villain of the arc so far. And this person said, wouldn't it be so much cooler if the Robin in this page was Tim Drake? To which I said in my head, no, would not be cooler. Because, did I say Tim Drake? No, I meant Damian Wayne. Yeah, they were like, wouldn't it be cooler if, like, instead of Tim Drake, it was Damian Wayne? And I was like, no, that would suck. Because the whole point of the Batman Reborn era, the whole point of Damian being Robin was to bring the Batman and Robin dynamic into the 21st century. How do you do that? Well, according to Grant Morrison, it was you flip the traditional dynamic of Batman and Robin. You know, this time you have the whimsical, like, you know, quippy, you know, fun-loving member of the dynamic duo be Batman, and the hardened, ultra-violent, needs to be reined in at some points in time, member of the dynamic duo be Robin. You just flip the dynamic between Batman and Robin, and that's how you get the perfect 21st century version of Batman and Robin. And throughout that run, which is Act 2 of Morrison's 3-act run, Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely really play with the idea that Damian is Dick's Robin. And when you get to Act 3 with Batman Incorporated, that idea is like really kind of reinforced when you have Damian trying to be his father's Robin, you know, and you see that Bruce and Damian do not. They do not. They are too similar. And they just don't work. It's just a constant clash. And I don't know, I feel like if we're gonna have Dick Grayson kind of regress as a character and go back to being Nightwing, you know, it's whatever. But if we're gonna have that, why not have Damian still hang out with Dick Grayson? You know, Damian is Dick's sidekick. You know, why not have Damian leave the Robin mantle behind? Because clearly it doesn't work for him now that Bruce is back to being Batman, and Batman needs a Robin, and Tim Drake is Bruce's Robin. Like Tim is Bruce's Robin in the same way that like Damian is Dick's Robin, or much rather Dick's sidekick. So if Bruce is Batman again, I think having Tim be Robin is like perfect. But if we're gonna have Dick be Nightwing, why not have Damian be Flamebird? You know, because I don't think anyone's using the Flamebird identity right now. And for anyone who's like, for the people who were confused about who Flamebird was, going back to like the Silver Age. Okay, first of all, Superman is Dick Grayson's favorite superhero. And according to Kryptonian legend, like, you know, hundreds of years before Krypton went bloom, there were these two superheroes that lived on Krypton named Nightwing and Flamebird. And after Dick kind of retired the Robin identity and went off to become his own man, he chose the mantle of Nightwing to honor Superman, his favorite superhero. So I don't know, I think it'd be cool to build off that and have Damian be the new Flamebird. I think that'd be cool, but whatever. But that was the whole like idea behind that poll that I posted a couple days ago. And thanks for everyone who voted, including the people who thought that I was wrong. The one person who thought I was wrong. Thank you too. 616 Man says, pitch. Marvel and DC fan service universe. I like where this is going. Basically could treat the original with broad strokes so that the things the old audiences liked happened for sure, but the things they didn't like didn't happen. Oh, I thought you meant something else when you said fan service universe. Well, I mean, that works too, you know? Although that's basically just the Omniverse currently with DC. I mean, it doesn't really make all that much sense, but like it's cool that like what I like is canon and what I don't like isn't canon. I miss Tim Drake Robin with Stephanie Brown spoiler. Yeah, me too. Hey, what's up, Josiah? How you doing, bro? Have you ever read Justice League: The Nail? If so, is it any good? I read parts of The Nail, like when I was in high school. It's like a brick ago, so like I don't know anymore, man. But from what I remember, I liked it. I can't really talk about it without spoiling like the point of the story. But it's really cool. I really like it. I remember really liking it. I haven't read it in forever, but I should get that back in my collection. Yeah. And like see how I feel about it today with like contemporary eyes. Tubby says, how do you feel about the Joshua Williamson on Superman in 2023? Now that Tom Taylor's Son of Kal-El book is over. Well, goddamn, it's nice that we're finally getting a Superman book again with Superman. That's what I gotta say to that. All right, let me show you some more of these comments that I got signed. I got Cully Hamner to sign my Action Comics #1 from the New 52. This story's really cool. I know a lot of people give New 52 Superman a lot of crap, but I really think people, when they talk about New 52 Superman, what they're really talking about is the weird take Jeff Johns had on Superman during Justice League and the main Superman title. But Action Comics was like consistently good, and this story's great. I get signed by Cully Hamner, who did the art. First of all, Cully Hamner's art is amazing. Cully Hamner's like an amazing artist. Like, I love the way Cully Hamner renders Superman. I would read the absolute hell out of a Superman title by Cully Hamner. This looks so cool, man. In a weird way, I'm kind of like nostalgic for this New 52 costume too. By the way, like Absolute Heresy. I think it would be really cool if Henry Cavill, after he came back, I think it'd be cool if he wore the New 52 Superman costume. I think that'd be really cool. I think everyone else would hate it, but I think it looks dope. But yeah, Cully Hamner's really cool. I also kind of joked about the possibility of him drawing Blue Beetle with a mullet, because I think Jaime would look ridiculously amazing with a mullet. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, wait, what? Are you actually going to... He's like, yeah, I created Jaime. I can do whatever the hell I want with Jaime, so I'm going to give him a mullet now. So, I don't know. If you see Jaime Reyes with a mullet in the near future, you guys know who to thank. Here's also this like rando issue of Captain America. I got the sign by John Beatty, who's the inker. John B. was really cool. He was a really sweet dude. And he had like a weird like situation where he didn't know how to sign this because he didn't want to like sign not Superman. He didn't want to sign Captain America's crotch, so he just like went up the leg, even though it still kind of looks like a crotch signature. But I don't know, I still think it's cool. Also, another cool signature that I'm really proud of. Probably gonna take this out of the package so you can see it. I ended up getting Batman 2. I got Batman 424 signed by Jim Starlin. This signature cost $20 goddamn dollars, but it's worth it. I love the story. This is the comic that begins the train, though, of people misremembering Jason Todd being an asshole, which he really wasn't. I mean, Jim Starlin kind of writes him like an asshole a little bit, but like, I mean, okay, look. Wait, if I can get the tape off of this, then I'll continue. Until then. No, the tape got stuck. Oh, well, it's fine. Whatever. Okay. Go back and read some Batman comics from, like, the 80s. Jason Todd isn't an asshole. Like, he's depicted as being in a lot of, like, contemporary Batman material. Like, Jason's not this, like, problem child douchebag. In fact, you know who was the problem child douchebag? It was Dick Grayson. Like, go back and read, like, Silver and Bronze Age Batman comics. Dick Grayson is unhinged. That kid is a menace. Dick Grayson is the menace that people misremember Jason Todd being. But Jason was never really the bad son. Jason was fairly wholesome. It's just in this story, there's like, I think it's like a drug dealing pimp who beats his girlfriend. He like gets off scot-free because he like bribes the right policeman, and then Jason just goes to his penthouse, and then dude falls off his balcony. And then Batman's like, okay, Robin, let's be honest. Did he fall or was he pushed? And Jason's like, fuck you, Batman. Ask me this stupid ass question. I don't give a fuck. He just swings off. But like, you know, honestly, that's something Dick Grayson would have done too. For being honest, if we're looking at like how these characters acted and kind of like, that's something I can see Dick Grayson doing too. As Robin, yeah. But you know, Jason Todd was like a fairly like banal kid. And like, I mean, he's freaking out and like being kind of like irrational in death in the family, but that's because he wants to know who his mom is, and he thinks he finds his mom. He does find his mom eventually, but like he's on a warpath in that story. Like, yeah, he's not thinking straight. Of course, he's not thinking straight. He's high strung. He's looking for his mom. Like that's the whole point of that story. But yeah, I don't know. I just say all that to say that like Jason Todd wasn't an asshole Robin, but Dick Grayson was. What else got? Oh, I have Wonder Woman Evolution, the first issue signed by Mike Hawthorne. Mike Hawthorne's a really cool dude. I'm glad I got to talk with him because he brought up a lot of really interesting like points about character design, specifically with Wonder Woman's. Something that I really like about Mike Hawthorne's depiction of Wonder Woman. And it's something that I pointed out to him personally. Despite saying this on Twitter a bunch of times, I really love the way Mike Hawthorne draws Wonder Woman's face and her nose. Like, he actually has Diana. I'm not sure if you can see it, but like if you look at like Diana's nose and like her face structure, she looks Greek. Like, she actually looks Greek, and I think that's really cool. I don't know. I just really enjoy this the way this book looks. Um, and yeah, no, I'm glad I got Mike Hawthorne to sign this. This is really cool. Um, Mike Hawthorne also apparently did like a stint on Daredevil with Chip Zdarsky, which I'm reading that book in trade, so I just haven't gotten to that point yet, but I don't know. I'm on volume 4, so like maybe it's volume 5, maybe it's volume 6, I don't know, but Mike Hawthorne also did Daredevil, so that's cool. Oh, and here we have, wait, I'm missing one, right? I am missing one, there we go. Here we have Batman Superman by Jean Luen Yang. And I got these all signed by Jean Luen Yang. This is a really fun era for Batman and Superman. I thought it was really dope. I was glad I got to talk to Jean Luen Yang about this. Apparently he was like a massive fan of the Golden Age Batman and Superman comics. And this arc was like his tribute to those stories. And that kind of means a lot to me as like a comic book reader, because I love Golden Age Batman and Superman. I am always happy to see more done with these characters in this aesthetic. Also, just, I don't know. Look at this. I think Lee Bermejo is the artist for these covers. Or like these variants, much rather. But dude, just look. Okay, look at this. Look at this Batman cover. That is like a straight up, not Douglas Croft, because that was Robin, I think. But like that is a straight up like 1940s like Batman serial, like bat suit, and it looks amazing. Like, God, it looks so cool, especially with like the like Golden Age style like Superman robot mechanical monsters in the background. That is so dope. Oh wow, here's like an ad for Stargirl, which has been canceled by now. Which, I mean, apparently is a damn shame, because I mean, I never watched it, but like apparently Stargirl was like really good. So I guess I'm at fault for, you know, not watching the show, but yeah. Anyways, this book, it's fantastic. If you can like find this in trade now, definitely give it a read if you're into like Golden Age Batman and Superman content, or like Golden Age DC content in general. That was really dope. Also, Jean Luen Yang is just a really cool dude. Let me get back to some more chats. Supreme says, with a few exceptions like Morrison's run, Jason had such a crappy. He had such crappy stories as Red Hood. The less said about Scott Lobdell, the better. I enjoy the Scott Lobdell era. I know, I'm a heretic, but I thought it was fun. As I'm a simple man. That I see Starfire in a book in a skimpy outfit. I read it. What do you want from me? Dave says, what about Connor Kent Superboy being the inspiration for the Legion of Superheroes? Because I feel like that idea from Young Justice Phantoms is actually amazing. I mean, it could be cool, but like, we're not gonna see how that idea comes to fruition because Young Justice got canceled. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think the idea is potentially really cool. Um, 616 Man says, Kurt Busiek ruined Kang the Conqueror. The overhyped Avengers Forever story from 1998 single-handedly ruins 40 years of Avengers history with the explanation of Kang was behind it all. LOL, time travel, what the fuck? Wait, what? Is that what happens? Are you serious? I mean, I have Avengers Forever here. I don't think I've like ever read it all the way through. Wait, oh man, that. Okay, well, hold on a second. It could be cool. I haven't read it, so I don't know what the execution is like. But I feel you with the idea being stupid. But like, I think you can make that idea work. Um, I think you can make it work. Um, 616 Man says, in comics, editors need to be there. Editors need to do their jobs of just letting creators and exploiters go insane. No consistency and continuity. Um, yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, 616 Man says Marvel and DC feel like they just want everything to be canon regardless of inconsistencies. Um, well, Marvel really doesn't like to acknowledge that one time that Carol Danvers got raped by her own son, who she gave birth to, and the Avengers were cool with it. Marvel really likes to sweep that one under the rug, so I don't know about that. But I'm scooping what you're pooping. I feel you. I feel you. It's all about what's convenient. Um, Supreme Omega says, fans blame Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen for ruining superheroes, but I feel like Marvel's and Kingdom Come did just about as much damage. So many wrong lessons were learned from both works, all about the Silver Age nostalgia. Oh, I 1,000,000% agree. Um, and like it's one of those things that I end up like resenting the work when the work is beautiful. Like it's the same thing that I have with like Dark Knight Returns. Just like I don't dislike Dark Knight Returns because so many years of like Batman content after Dark Knight Returns is like absolutely terrible and learning the wrong lessons from Dark Knight Returns. But kind of makes me dislike Dark Knight Returns. Um, just like I think I agree. I think a lot of people just they look at the pretty pictures in Kingdom Come and then they just kind of like ignore like story and like character motivation. Um, it's not good. Not good. Um, but yeah, no, I, mm, I have a big problem with not Kingdom Come itself, but like specifically the people misinterpreting those books. That's my problem with them. And you're a bot, so I'm just gonna ban you. There we go. Okay. Um. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna go back to the books I got. Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 529. I think this is the first like full appearance of the Scarlet Spider, not Scarlet Spider, of the Iron Spider, and I got this signed by Ron Garney. Ron Garney's great. This is like kind of how I see like modern Spider-Man in my head. Like his art is just that's just what like modern Spider-Man looks like to me. Yeah, hold on a second. Like, what's a cool page? I mean, this whole thing is cool, but like, yeah, like this right here. This is the art style that I think of when I think of like adult Peter Parker. Like it's really cool. Oh, you couldn't see it. Like there we go. Yeah. Like this is what I think of when I think of like adult Spider-Man. And yeah, no, I'm so glad I got to get this signed. Ron Garney was really cool, although he was like super, like he was doing a commission, so he just didn't really have time to like talk. But my girlfriend and I chatted a bit with his wife, and she was really cool. And she had patience to talk to a couple dorks. You know, that was cool. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So remember I was talking about Anacenti earlier and how I brought the wrong Daredevil books? I didn't bring the wrong Spider-Man book though. Anacenti definitely wrote this, and she definitely signed this, and I was so glad she got it. That I got it signed by her. 80s Spider-Man hits different. Like, dude, I love Spider-Man from the 80s, especially this whole like black suit era. Come on, dog. This is dope. This is so dope. I love it so much. Yeah, like, okay. Just like weird, cool, like outside the box thinking for like opening pages like this. You don't see this in Spider-Man comics anymore. And this is something that I think is like quintessential. I think of this as like a quintessential kind of stylistic opening for a Spider-Man comic, and we just don't do this anymore. And I don't know, it's just 80s feels like peak Spider-Man to me. And I don't know, I love this shit. I love it a lot. Oh, I also got Section 8 signed by Garth Ennis, as well as my copy of Sarah is also signed by Garth Ennis. Yeah, just such a great guy. Also, apparently, Sarah is like his favorite comic. Like this is the thing he's most proud of, and I definitely can see that. I really enjoy the story a lot. This is among my favorite Garth Ennis works. I hesitate to say it's my favorite because I really like I really like his Hellblazer, but no, like you know the thing where like an artist says that's my favorite piece. I love painting that. I love drawing that. When Garth Ennis says like this is his favorite comic that he's like written, I can see it. I can see that. I definitely had a hell of a time reading it. This book is great. This is one of like the modern greats, I feel. And it just kind of sucks that no one's really like talking about it. Like I think when this book first came out a couple years ago, everyone was talking about it, and then just people stopped. Just like they did with all the TKO Studios books, to be honest. But um, I don't know. That's unfortunate. I think Sarah's great. Um, I also met um, Liam Sharp, creator of Starhenge, as well as the artist on um, Grant Morrison's run on Green Lantern, or I guess the Green Lantern. But yeah, Liam Sharp signed my copies of Starhenge. Let me actually take these out of the package, so you can see his signature. It's like kind of a weird, interesting um, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but his signature is like kind of cool, and you know, it's all vertical. It's yeah. But I've talked about Starhenge on the channel before. It's really cool. It's one of my favorite comics coming out right now. I love the sci-fi epic that he's going for in this, and yeah, just more people should read this book. It's really cool. Especially if you're into like sci-fi kind of occult material. You know, like if you really like movies like not Sunshine. What's that movie with Lawrence Fishburne in it? Where like there's a spaceship that goes to another dimension, and then it comes back, and then like this you find out this one dude like just killed everyone in the spaceship as like a sacrifice, because they traveled through hell. What's the name of that movie? Wow, holy crap! It brought up Boys in the Hood. Um, Wait, no, what the hell is it, man? Um, it's like a spaceship horror movie. Event Horizon. Yeah, like if you're really into stuff like Event Horizon, and like I think you would really be into Starhenge. It's really good. Um. Oh. It's the last one. No, not the last one. I also got uh my copy of Penguin Triumphant, signed by the amazingly talented Brian Stelfreeze. He didn't do the interiors, but he did do the cover. And Brian Stelfreeze is like he did a bunch of uh, DC covers throughout the '90s. He's an absolute beast. Um, but yeah, no, absolutely great. Um, and here is my copy of FF, signed by Barry Kitson. I kind of wish I got him to sign the inside of it though, and because the outside is the outside, so it's gonna get completely fucked up on my bookshelf. But I'm glad that Barry Kitson signed it anyways. It's really dope. Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah, all right. Let's get back to some chats. Um, Supreme. Bye, Tevya. See you, man. Um, Supreme says, Nightwing. I don't mind Bruce being a lifelong bachelor. Batman 50 didn't bother me, but I feel Dick should have gotten married to Starfire. It makes more sense for Dick to get married than Bruce. I agree, although I disagree about him getting married to Starfire. Um, one of the big things that I feel about, granted, I haven't read the entirety of George Perez and Marv Wolfman's Teen Titans, but I have this like I have this like aching feeling that Starfire and Dick were never built to last. Like, that's a relationship that, if we're going by the Teen Titans being like Dick Grayson going off to college, I feel like that's the relationship that you get into when you're in college and it's your first real relationship. But it's not. It's fun, but it's fleeting. It's not meant to last. And I know that fucks with a lot of Dickory fans out there, but yeah, Dick Grayson's. I never really saw him as being with Starfire long term. That never really felt like a long term relationship to me. I mean, granted, I like the idea of Dick and Barbara being together. I think they're really cute. You know what? Because I debate myself on this all the time. Sometimes I like the idea of Dick Babs, and sometimes I don't. I'm in a place where I do like it right now. And for all the faults of Tom Taylor's Nightwing series, those like little out of context clips or like panel clips that you'll see on Twitter, those are really cute. You can disagree with me all you want, light fixture, but I don't care. I'm right. Yeah, and like Dick Babs is that's the proper ship. Dick Babs supremacy. I think. Oh, student of the game. Hey, what's up? How you living? Welcome to the stream. Or goodbye if you've left already. I don't know. I but I don't know who's watching, who's not watching. But thanks for coming by. Tevi says before I go. Okay. Final question. I'm just wondering, how do you feel about de-aging John Kent and getting rid of the imposter John Kent? Nope. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. Too much representational progress has been made with aged up John Kent that to get rid of him now, that would be bad press like a motherfucker. You just DC's better off just not even entertaining that thought at this point. It fucked up too many things to de-age him. Remix. Hey, what's good, Remix? While One More Day is probably the worst comic book out of all time, what are some of the other worst and best ones in your opinion? Okay, so as far as worst retcons, let's start with the negatives first, then we'll get to the positives. Worst retcons, Barry Allen being like a depressed origin story, like Orphan Boy. I hate that origin I don't like that retcon at all. I think one of the things that makes Barry Allen unique is that he did have a loving family. His mom and dad were still alive throughout the Silver and Bronze Age, and he was a superhero because he was a nerd. He's a nerd who liked reading Flash comics, and then he gets super speed powers, and he becomes the Flash. I think that's a cool origin enough. This whole like weird tragedy with his mom, it's so dumb. I don't like that at all. But now for what I think is one of the best retcons in comics. Um, Sorry. That's not it. It's just very late where I am. But one of the best retcons in comics, I feel, is Grant Morrison saying that Bruce Wayne was tripping balls in the Batcave, and that's how we get the Silver Age Batman comics. I still love that retcon. That's one of my favorite retcons in like superhero comics. Um, and I don't care what anybody else says. It's great. 616 Man says, Spider-Man is full of bad retcons. Yeah, man. Since the 90s. Absolute pain. LYO, Ryan Reynolds in blackface. I know. I thought it was really clever. Again, a couple people liked it. You know, Anderson really liked it. You know, some of the other con people I met liked it. Just Howard Chaykin just gave me a weird ass look after that, and I was like, all right, my bad. I guess it's not your humor. X-Men have had some pretty bad runs, or not runs, retcons, but yes, runs. Marvel's most popular characters, Spider-Man, X-Men, are full of bad retcons, and DC's most popular characters, Batman and Superman, are also full of bad retcons. Yeah. I'll throw out another one that I don't like. I don't like the retcon that Jeff Loeb established in the early 2000s of Superman, that the Silver Age continuity version of Krypton is the real Krypton, and John Byrne's Krypton is like some weird fake, like space Illuminati bullshit to fuck with Superman. I don't like that at all. I'm not a fan of that idea whatsoever. Because part of that I really like John Byrne's version of Krypton. I think it's really cool and interesting, but just I don't like the retcon at all either. That's one of the ones I'm not a fan of. You could also make Tim Drake Red Robin and pair him with Bruce, and then leave Damian as Robin with Dick Grayson. I mean, yeah, I can see that, but I think in order for Damian to continue being Robin, you'd have to have Dick be Batman. Batman and Robin come as a pair. You know, it's, having Robin hang out with Nightwing is kind of weird, honestly. All right, good night, Tevya. Supreme Omega says, on the big two, do they really care about new readers? Because I feel they care more about the remaining fans as an insular audience by appealing to their nostalgia through iconography and familiarity. I don't think you realize how right you are. In fact, it's really interesting. At a retailer summit recently, Dan DiDio openly admitted that the comic book industry, specifically DC Comics, because he worked at DC Comics for so long, lost a generation of comic book readers. And I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, Dan, I wonder whose fault that is." But okay, to be fair though, that's not all Dan DiDio's fault. It really isn't. Like, some of the blame has to go to Jim Lee, because Jim Lee is also, or I guess was also, the co-editor at DC Comics for the longest time. So a lot of those same ideas that passed by Dan DiDio's desk also passed by Jim Lee's, and Jim Lee co-signed. So another big contributor that like a lot of people don't think of Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns' whole shtick was, hey, remember that cool thing from like the 70s? Let's bring that back now. That's like almost all what Jeff Johns did throughout his career as a writer at DC Comics. I think it's like weird and interesting. But yeah, no, that's how you lose an entire generation. You appeal to their mom and dad. Basically. So yeah. Supreme says, a manga question. Have you read any new manga recently? Because among comic book fandom, we should talk about manga more. Yeah, definitely. I'm reading My Dress Up Darling. That's a really cute manga. It's a romance manga. And weirdly is kind of scratching my like Peter Parker, Mary Jane like itch. I mean, it's superficial because like it basically boils down to awkward guy and really hot girl who's secretly a dork. You know, I it's an archetype that works, and it worked for Peter and MJ, so I'm down with it. What other manga am I reading though? Oh, I think I said this like. I think you guys saw this in my my 600 subscriber special. I got the entire Akira collection, so I'm gonna start rereading Akira pretty soon. 616 Man says, DC Comics presents the return of Rick Grayson. Oh, Jesus Christ, no! Don't say they did that because that would suck. Supreme Omega says, I don't know. I don't ship Dick and Barbara together. It just felt rushed and unnatural. It only happened because of the wedding of Nightwing and Starfire got derailed due to Batman editors wanting Dick back. Oh, they wanted some Dick back, huh? No, sorry. Yeah. Contain. Don't let the intrusive thoughts win. Yeah, I can see that. It's pretty commonplace for comics throughout the 80s. I'm gonna turn this on because my air quality here is awful. 616 Man says, Fan Service Studios presents Give Us What We Want. Marvel and DC universes with all the good and none of the bad. Yeah, basically the thought process behind New 52. Basically. 616 Man says, Jeff Loeb's Superman retcon in Post-Crisis was another crack in continuity. Yes, it was. Made no goddamn sense, but you know, nope, that's what Krypton looked like always. I'm not sure how the bulk of the 90s happened, if that's the case, but I guess that's what Krypton always looked like. But yeah, I don't know, just insanity. But yeah, those are the comics that I got signed at Baltimore Comic Con, and actually, I picked up a bunch of other like indie books. I got this book called Project Nausis by A. Paul. I haven't flipped through it yet. I haven't really flipped through any of the Baltimore Comic Con like vendor books that I've read yet, but not read, but bought yet. But I'm definitely gonna do that like before next week. I just haven't had a chance to read anything yet. But yeah, I picked up the first 2 issues of this book. The pitch was pretty convincing, so You know, I checked it out. And here is a book called Super Suckers. It's a vampire book, and this guy, oh wait, hold on a second. I didn't notice this before. A writer of Seinfeld and Futurama. Holy crap! Oh man, that's cool. I didn't pick up on that before. But yeah, no. Crap. What? There we go. Darren Henry. Um, really sweet dude at the con. He pitched me like basically this like kind of Archie comics meets horror kind of story with this. So fuck it, dude. Why not? I picked it up. I supported his book, and this is me pimping out his books. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm definitely gonna like go through these throughout this week, but Jeff Loeb Superman Recon and Post Crisis. Oh no, I already read that. I had no idea Jeff Loeb did that to Superman. Wow, LOL. I'm gonna try and forget I heard that ever happened. Well, you can't unhear it because it happened. And as much as I love the City of Tomorrow era, just Jesus Christ, that is one of the weak points. We're gonna be honest about it. That said, as much as I don't like Return to Krypton and those stories, Duncan Rollo or Rolu, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. He draws an amazing Superman, and he did the art for those story arcs. Absolutely fantastic. It just sucks that like his art was wasted on crappy nostalgia bait comics. Supreme Omega says the Dick X Corey fans are of the new Teen Titans fandom, while the Dick X Babs fans are of the Batman fandom. Shipping wars. Let them fight. Let them fight. How to reboot? Start from scratch, yo. I mean, you should. Ideally, you should, but they don't always. Remix says, focusing on the past in comics while ignoring the present is definitely what contributed to that lost generation. You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. Nice. It's kind of weak, honestly. Yeah, I've been going for like what, 2 hours and 33 minutes. All right, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, if you haven't hit like yet, hit that damn like button. Come on, do it. I know you got it in you. I'm not above e-begging. I will go full on Skippy if that's what it takes. And if you don't know what Skippy is, I urge you to you know what? I've suffered. You guys look up what Skippy is, and you have fun. Have fun with that. Yeah, no. I'm I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you guys so much for coming by, talking about comics and all this. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Skippy. Yeah. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, much love, and until next time, adios, nachos, adios. Oh wait, actually, I can do the Sailor Moon thing while also saying adios, nachos. All right, so I'm gonna try that one more time. Adios, nachos. Adios. Oh, almost did the Sailor Moon thing. Whatever. What's a good way to end the stream?